welcome those of you joining us here on a beautiful Rocky Mountain night in Boulder. Sellout crowd. Dave Fleming, Brock Osweiler, Stormy Bonatoni. Jerry McGinn is our rules analyst for this game. Colorado offense on the field for the first time after their defense forces a Wyoming punt. Big game for the Buffaloes. They're coming off a miserable performance last week against Houston, particularly in the second half, where they could not move the ball at all. They couldn't stop Houston running the ball. We talked to Deion Sanders yesterday. He was very cranky this week about how his 1-2 team has been playing. And they not only need to win this game, they need to play a whole lot better tonight.
Yeah, they certainly do. You really get the sense that this is a make or break type game for this Colorado football team. They have not played up to the standard that Coach Sanders expects out of his ball club this season.
And their quarterback, Caden Salter, was benched for last week's game. Back as the starter. He's going to take off and run. And that's what he does so well. Caden Salter across midfield on 3rd and long converts, a gain of 17.
That is exactly what Deion Sanders wants to see out of his quarterback. He told us last night, he goes, I don't care what he does, just be decisive. If you're going to throw the football, spin it, cut it loose. If you're going to run, tuck it, and go get positive yards. I want the quarterback that lit it up at Liberty, the guy that I went into the portal and brought here to replace Shedeur Sanders when he moved on. That was a fantastic pickup by Caden Salter.
I mean, a couple years ago, he ran for more than 1,000 yards and threw for a ton of yards as well. He's got it in him. Now Taylor gets the carry, left side run, and a more positive gain that time of 4 on first down. There is Caden Salter. He's been around college football for a long time. Numbers very modest this year. Started the first 2 games, and he got sat down last week.
He did, and listen, he's done some good stuff. You know, he was in the ball game against Georgia Tech week 1, who's a top 20 team right now, and did some really good things. He hasn't turned the football over, but you just get the sense the consistency and the level of play Coach Sanders wants to see has not been there.
Pressure picked up. Salter, though, is going backwards. Really going backwards now. Trying to buy some more time. Salter is going to go down and take a big loss. Well, that is not what Coach Sanders wants from his quarterback.
No, that's exactly what he doesn't want to see. That's a situation where Caden Salter has to realize the play's over. Throw the football away, save the field position. You were going to be in a 3rd and manageable situation. Instead, now it's 3rd and a mile. There's no play call in America that Pat Shurmur can get to now to try to pick up this 3rd and 20. And that's, you know, this is a veteran quarterback. He has played a ton of football. You have to assume Deion Sanders very frustrated right now.
Already a timeout for Coach Sanders, and Salter's coming. Stands, the all-black uniforms for the Buffaloes on the field. Big game for Colorado, trying to get this season turned in the right direction. It's been a disappointing start for Deion Sanders' team. 3rd and 20 after a big sack. And Salter in the shotgun's going to throw it short. There is a blocker up in front. Omarion Miller still on his feet, trying to fight across midfield. He sort of gets back right near the original line of scrimmage, but not close enough for Colorado to go for it. That sack proves very costly.
Well, it's just a drive killer. Anytime you have 2nd and 7 and you go backwards 13 yards, you know, it's going to end your drive. And that's why I said Caden Salter, he's played too much football to make a mistake like that. But I also think you need to give a lot of credit to Wyoming after giving up a big conversion on 3rd down to Salter's legs, getting off the field.
You kind of see it in his eyes. He knew that was a big mistake. Damon Greaves has done an excellent job as the punter, but that one a yard too far in the end zone. So a touchback, and Wyoming will get the ball back. Well, welcome inside the booth here at Folsom Field. Dave Fleming and Brock Osweiler. And look, Brock, the way we sort of started the show, if you're just joining us, Colorado 1-2 really played poorly in the second half last week. So it's not just about beating a team that on paper you should beat. It's about looking much more like the team that Deion Sanders thinks he has.
Absolutely. This is a get right football game. This is a get the train back on the tracks, get some steam, and let's roll right now in this 25 season. Deion Sanders said it to me at Big 12 Media Days this year. He said, you cannot replace Shedeur Sanders. You can't replace a Travis Hunter, but this is a better football team than the team last year that won 9 games. We've yet to see that.
Well, a lot of talent on this roster, and that's a nice play into the backfield for a tackle for loss. Taufeeq Bayard, who's getting the start at one safety spot, starting for the first time this year. That was a nice play.
Yeah, really nice play. You're going to see Bayard right there on the left side of your screen. This is a guy that's been playing so well. He found himself in the starting lineup tonight, has been in a reserve role in the previous 3 games, but just consistently making plays for this Colorado defense.
Teron Kelman is the back alongside Caden Anderson, the starting quarterback for Wyoming. Handoff, and just nowhere to go. Man, swallowed up. And going backwards even still, London Merritt, true freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, in the backfield. A loss for Wyoming.
I tell you what, this Colorado defense, they're answering the call that Deion Sanders put out this week. He challenged his defense a week ago in the Houston game. He said, in quotes, it was hot garbage what he saw out of his defense. That is certainly not the case tonight. This defensive unit is setting the tone here early.
And that was like one of the more mild things that Coach Prime said after last week's game. He has been feisty all week long.
Anderson needs to be smart with the football here, backed up.
Third and very long, 3rd and 16. He'll throw and into coverage. A penalty flag is thrown. In fact, 2 different flags in the secondary. That was a dangerous throw. Hodge had a chance to pick it off. I think the 2 flags, now they're picking up the second one and bringing it to the same area. So I think this is the same penalty. We've already had 1 big penalty against Colorado's defense the first time Wyoming had the ball.
Pass interference, defense, number 4. Ball replacement, not a foul, automatic, first down.
I don't know if I agree with that call unless I'm not seeing something from up here. There was a little bit of contact initially on this play. You're going to see right here, maybe a slight tug on that back of the jersey that we can't really see. Seemed like both guys just playing the football, but hey, that's the 2nd third down already of this game where there's been a defensive penalty that gives new life to this Wyoming offense.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. Yeah, you're right. That's a big penalty. 1st and 10 Wyoming, and now they're going to have to call a timeout. Totally disorganized, and Caden Anderson's throwing his hands up like, is somebody going to give me a play?
Be a 30-second timeout.
So Wyoming burns their first timeout of the first half. Of the brand new Ralphie 7. They were nervous. They didn't know how she'd do in front of the big crowd for the first time. Ralphie 6 was retired in August after 4 years of service due to, quote, indifference to running. It's kind of an important part of the job. So they have a new Ralphie who loves to run. On first down for Wyoming, going deep, trying to get Chris Durr the ball again, and a nice play by DJ McKinney to knock it away.
And indifference to running.
The kids, the students here are so into it. All of them had the cell phones. It's been a huge story. You think we're joking. Huge story here in Boulder. Ralphie 6 seems very happy in retirement.
Out in the field, eating well, a lot of free time.
Summertime, shed the big coat. Yeah, just living life out there. Ralphie 7 came to play today. Handoff up the middle, and Kelvin stopped after a short gain. So here we go again, another opportunity for Colorado on 3rd down. The defense has come to play tonight.
They really have, and they've done a tremendous job, except for 2 penalties on 3rd down already here on the first quarter. They gave a fresh set of downs to Wyoming. There's no trick to what Colorado's going to play. They're going to play man coverage tonight on 3rd down. You can see that it's time for Wyoming to dial up a man beater. Keep an eye on the slot at the bottom of your screen. Chris Durr.
He's the top target for Anderson on 3rd down. He goes Durr's way, and it's knocked down, incomplete, and another penalty flag is thrown. Deion Sanders, he may lose his mind. Hodge again was there with coverage.
I thought the coverage was really good by Hodge, someone who struggled a bit a week ago against Houston.
Pass interference, defense, number 7. Ball replacement, not a foul, automatic, first down.
I don't agree with that call at all. I think Hodge did a great job of timing up when he sticks his hand in there for the PBU. But obviously the official saw something different.
That's the 3rd one already. We're in the first quarter. 3rd Pass interference on 3rd down that gives Wyoming a 1st down. And a guy who knows quite a bit about defensive back play doesn't look real happy on the sidelines. Samuel Harris, the true freshman running back in the backfield. Anderson under center is going to give it to Harris, and that was a better hole on the right side out to the 40, a gain of 5.
This is a Wyoming football team that takes a lot of pride in being physical, tough, and winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. A week ago, they played toe-to-toe with Utah for about 3 quarters, a team that takes a ton of pride in being one of the most physical teams in America. I've been anxious all week to watch this Wyoming offensive line against this Colorado defensive line that's very talented.
The penalty's been the best play for Wyoming's offense so far. Other than that last run, that was their best play from scrimmage. Now Anderson just whistles that one. He threw a fastball from about 10 feet away right through the hands of the former starting quarterback for Wyoming, Evan Svoboda.
That's a really tough catch for Svoboda to try to make. You're right, that was a number 1. That was a fastball coming right at the tight end. As a quarterback, you got to make that throw a little more friendly for your playmakers outside. See if this Colorado defensive line can take over this game. Arden Walker at the bottom of your screen, 53, a guy that had 4.5 sacks a season ago, has yet to get his first one of the 25 season.
On 3rd and 5, they're handed the ball off, and Colorado was ready for that. Stopped a good 2.5 yards short of the 1st down line. On Wyoming's side of the field, it's 4th down, and it looks to me like the punt team is coming out.
You know, I don't mind the call on 3rd and 5 to run the football. When you're playing against a defense that plays so much man coverage, a lot of the times you can get premier looks with the box count to run the football and try to pick up a cheap 5. You got to give Colorado a lot of credit to rallying into that football and forcing a punt.
Wyoming hasn't completed a pass yet. They've run 12 plays from scrimmage, and they have 9 total yards. It's been the penalties. So punt return team back out there for Colorado. That's Taylor. Fair catch signal at the 15. That's where they come.
Thanking God for not allowing me to say what I wanted to say. Wasn't good. We're not struggling. We're getting our butts kicked. You don't have to be polite with me. You don't have to sugarcoat it. I come from a mama who kept it a buck with me, so let's keep it a buck. We're getting our butts kicked.
That was like a little sliver of Deion Sanders after last week's loss at Houston. And the tone with us, Brock, yesterday when we talked to Deion for a long time was pretty similar. Hand off to Taylor on 1st down as Colorado gets it for the 2nd time, and a gain of 3 over the left side. Now, yesterday with you and me and Stormy, most of the talk was centered around Caden Salter, his quarterback. I think the message after the game against Houston was directed so 2nd down and 6. Salter rolling right, throwing on the move. Man, that was a nice delivery to Omarion Miller. That's 1st down Colorado.
That's a really good throw, and I really think Caden Salter is at his best when he can get outside the pocket. I think he's just a little more comfortable, and you see the confidence behind this throw. Just a flick of the wrist puts it exactly where it needs to be, and that's a really nice catch by Miller to get a fresh set of downs.
It's a gain of 17. Other than the sack, we've seen some good stuff from Salter so far. Taylor just couldn't quite get away. And a nice tackle, Ben Florentine, who's been kind of the top player along the defensive line for Wyoming.
And I know we've made a lot of comments about, you know, kind of feels like the roof is collapsing here in Colorado. They're 1-2. It hasn't been perfect. And I think a lot of that frustration that you saw in Deion Sanders' press conference, it's just because I don't see an urgency in his football team. There's a lack of consistency. And don't kid yourself, there's a ton of talent on this roster, but right now the continuity just isn't there.
Tight end in motion. On 2nd down, another handoff left side run, and that's a good one from Simeon Price, who he's flashed in the early part of the season. I think in some ways he's been their most impressive running back. That'll set up 3rd down and short.
You got to wonder for Colorado, is this a potential 4-down territory situation? I expect them to keep the football on the ground here, attitude play.
Salter's just going to sneak it right ahead. Not exactly a tush push, but just an old-fashioned quarterback sneak to convert the first down.
Yeah, and Deion Sanders, he challenged his football team this week, and that's why I said, you know, I expect this to be potentially 4-down territory. He wants to see more out of his offensive unit. He expects this group to be physical, to be tough, to be able to run the football.
And Caden Salter led Liberty to a really special season a couple of years ago. He was one, forget what level he was playing at. He was one of the most dynamic playmakers in college football that year. He keeps it and just can't get away. That play was sort of blown up from the beginning. He faked it to Quentin Gibson, the freshman receiver. Tice Westland was there to make the tackle.
Great play by Westland to avoid the pulling blocker by Colorado. Does a great job of getting around the edge.
A little better start on the ground. Despite that last play, a little better.
Well, Salter made a really nice play on the first series of the game, tucking it, running, picking up a big explosive gain with his legs, but outside of that, hasn't been much for Colorado.
There's definitely been an intention to run the ball. Salter keeps. That looked like a designed quarterback run, and he gets to the spot.
It's a great play design by Pat Shurmur. You're going to see Caden Salter, after faking inside zone, he gets a lead blocker out to the perimeter. Just great play design by Pat Shurmur and great execution by this Colorado offense.
So first down, Colorado into Wyoming territory now for the first time. Shotgun snap. Salter all kinds of time. Down the right sideline, incomplete. And now the Colorado fans are going, you serious? 3 pass interference against our guys already in the first quarter, and no flag there.
Well, and this is what has frustrated Deion Sanders with Caden Salter. Sincere Brown does a great job of winning on the go route. He's open down the field, but the football is underthrown. And this is what I said in the open. Caden, if you're going to run the football, run it. Tuck and run, make that decision. If you're going to throw it, cut it loose. And right there, that was a missed opportunity for the Colorado offense.
I think it was a good no call. I don't think that was pass interference, despite all the fans' hopes. Salter pressured, got away, scrambling. Salter will take a slight hit and go out of bounds. So he got positive yardage inside the 40 down to the 38.
Well, and these are the plays that you expect Caden Salter to recognize. Wyoming's going to bring pressure. Keep your eye right here. Well, Colorado's in a 5-man protection. They don't have anybody available to pick up the safety. Caden Salter doesn't recognize it. That's why he gets flushed out of the pocket. As somebody who's played as much football as Caden Salter needs to recognize that, get the football out of his hand quicker.
3rd and 6. Shotgun snap. Salter again with lots of time across the middle, and that was a good delivery right to the 30. Draylon Miller with the catch, plenty enough for a Colorado first down.
That was a really good job by Caden Salter. He just stayed calm in the pocket. It took a while for that play to develop. Wyoming was showing pressure. They ended up dropping back into a zone defense. Caden Salter delivering the football for a first down.
Part of that message from Deion Sanders was, man, we got great wide receivers. Get the ball to those guys. We got talent at that position.
Scoreless here in Boulder. Coach, you said you wanted your team to get off to a good start. Some highs, some lows. How would you evaluate what you've seen?
About a C- right now. I mean, like, we got to get a stop here on this drive, and then offensively, we got to string some plays together. We can't just get bailed out with pass interference calls. So we got to be a lot better.
Thank you for this.
Thank you.
3 Wyoming first downs in the first quarter on penalties, 0 of their own doing. They have 9 total yards. A little reverse play with Salter as a blocker, and you got to give Wyoming credit. Harge ended up with the football, and the Cowboys were right there. They read that perfectly.
Yeah, Tice Westland did a great job right there. 40 on your screen is staying home, being disciplined with his eyes. Really good job of containment on the edge.
Light rain had started to fall at the end of the first quarter. That seems to have stopped now. Just a beautiful night and packed for family weekend in Boulder. Colorado and Wyoming. Salter throws a slant, and that one went right through the hands of Miller. Pass was a little bit high. Miller looks
really think the football was right where it needed to be for Miller, just trying to work a little inside tunnel screen. And you know, and this is the frustration. It's that lack of consistency right now, stringing together positive plays.
Wyoming is going to burn a timeout on 3rd and 10. So that's the second timeout for the Cowboys in this first half.
30-second timeout.
Colorado is starting to find a little offensive rhythm, but a play that didn't go anywhere on the reverse, and then the pass that went through the hands of Miller.
And if you're Jay Savell right now, I think you're pretty happy. He told us this week when we met with him, if we can come out of the first quarter, you know, tie ball game or within a score, we're going to feel pretty good about things. So he just said it to Stormy a little bit ago. They know that they need to get their offense going. They're going to need to make some plays against this man coverage that Colin likes to play. But right here at 0-0, he has to feel pretty good on the road.
Of course, Craig Bohl, who came to Wyoming and really did an excellent job of getting this program, which has a long football history, to a higher level than they had been in a long time. Craig Bohl retires. Jay takes over. This is his second year as the head coach. There's no Josh Allen on this Wyoming team.
Caden Salter needs to be smart with the football here. He has a field goal in his back pocket.
Pressured, going to the end zone. Miller caught at the back of the end zone. Touchdown! yards in Colorado. First points of this game early in the second quarter. Marion Miller, who's had a hard time staying healthy. You might remember his name when he was a freshman. That memorable game against USC, had a monster game. He's back healthy again. Extra point up and good, and a flag thrown at the end of it. The kicker, I think, was roughed. Alejandro Mata hit the turf. And they'll just take the point after.
Running into the kicker. Defense, number 40. That penalty is fine. The try is good.
So NFL quarterback would. They've actually upgraded the quarterback position from last year.
Flem, last two games, many passes, 3 incompletions.
Wow, what a performance. And a guy we know very well, Fernando Mendoza, who's found a new home in Bloomington. What a game for him.
I mean, absolutely lit it up against a really good Illinois defense. What a win for the Hoosiers today.
Wow. 63 points for Indiana. Wyoming so far stuck on 0. They need their quarterback, Caden Anderson, to get it going. He is capable. Caden, who comes from a great place, a cradle of quarterbacks, South Lake Carroll. Look who's up in the right corner there, our friend Greg McElroy, one of the all-time South Lake greats. And Caden Anderson, last year for Wyoming, started 3 games. He's been the starter all year this season. Pretty modest passing numbers. Look, Wyoming's not a program built to just sling it around all over the place. But it's been a slow start tonight for the Wyoming offense.
Yeah, it really has. He's been a little bit inconsistent this year. Needs to be a better accurate passer, sub 60% guy on the season.
And he's going down. He got sandwiched between 2 Colorado defenders on first down. And now there's an offensive lineman hurt. Things are going from bad to worse for the Wyoming offense.
This is timeout.
Number 65, Nathan Geiger, down on this turf.
Please reset the game clock to 13 minutes and 59
Keep an eye on the
seconds.
left side of your screen. Arden Walker working that edge to get his first sack of the season. Probably going to go down as a half sack. It's his teammate Keaton Wade in there, 27. And that's what this Colorado defense has yet to get going this season. This is a defense that led the Big 12 in sacks a season ago. They've yet to really kind of bring that type of production and affect football games. Coach Sanders is going to want to see a lot more of that tonight.
Nathan Geiger, the sophomore left tackle from the state of Colorado. There are not a ton of local kids on these two rosters, but there's a huge connection between these two schools, separated by only a couple hours drive. In the Rocky Mountains, these two border states, Wyoming and Colorado. And hopefully Nathan Geiger, you saw his left leg get clipped there on the pressure from the two defensive ends. Hopefully he's all right.
Played at Thunder Ridge High School just right down the road in Highlands Ranch. Not too far from here in Boulder.
Obviously working on his left leg, left knee-ish area. Well, Colorado's defense off to an excellent start tonight.
I mean, if it wasn't for the 3 penalties that they've received on third down, I mean, Wyoming would, you know, they would probably have 0 yards on the game.
And with the sack they took on first down of this drive, they officially do have 0 total yards. Well, next week, as we look ahead, late night on this Saturday, next week, college football, and look at what we got. Friday night, that's a big game. Virginia's way better. Florida State on the road on Friday night. Notre Dame, a desperate Arkansas team, you figure. LSU, Ole Miss, and Oxford, that'll be just bumping. And how about in Athens, Alabama, Georgia?
I can't wait to watch those 2 games. Ole Miss down in the Grove. LSU looking really tough this year. Great slate for football on Saturday.
As full conference play really starts to ramp up now. Harris, the freshman in the backfield on second down and very long. And Harris, a nice run out into the open. Harris to midfield. Harris is going to try to cut it back inside. He gets inside the 35-yard line. Finally, DJ McKinney gets him to the ground. That's 51 yards.
Excellent block by Jake Davies, who just came in. Very first play is in for the injured Geiger. Look at the left side of your screen, 71, getting that late block. And that's really what springs Harris for the explosive run. Excellent job by that front 5 winning the line of scrimmage.
Now that's making an impact in the game. His first play, literally. That was like a hustle block. Sprung by far the best play of the night for Wyoming. Samuel Harris, the young freshman who had a nice game last week against Utah.
And now Caden Anderson needs to get going. He's 0 for 4 on the game. He needs to help out his team. Colorado plays so much man coverage as a quarterback. That's what you love to see. It simplifies your reads. Has to find a way to get in rhythm this drive.
Looking middle, and there's his first completion. And the fight forward by Jalen Bean is enough for a Wyoming first down.
Good quick decision by the sophomore quarterback. Just getting the football out of his hands, seeing what that Colorado defense is doing. Once again, man coverage, it allows you to make quick decisions.
So finally, something positive for the Wyoming offense. Now well into Colorado territory, 1st and 10. Sam Scott is in the backfield now. Kind of a high snap. Scott, and maybe the timing was a little messed up on that play because of the snap. Colorado was in the backfield in a flash. He did well to get a couple yards.
Yeah, and he's a bruiser back, 6'2", 227 pounds. He's kind of the steady Eddie guy for this Wyoming Cowboys football team. He's a thumper inside, and when there's no yards to be had, he'll find 2 or 3 for his offense.
Scott still in the game. Receiver in motion on second down. They'll throw it to Scott out of the backfield. He turns it upfield, lowers his shoulders and gets inside the 10. DJ McKinney did wrestle him down, but he took the brunt of that hit. That's 13 more yards, 1st and goal.
I really like this play designed by Jay Johnson. He knows he's getting man coverage. There's a linebacker in the middle right there, 37 French, that needs to get outside and cover Scott. But because of all the traffic with the crossing routes, it's hard to get through that. And that's why Scott was able to get a step and pick up a first down.
Well, 1st and goal. Wyoming's been pretty good in the red zone so far this year. 5 touchdowns, 7 trips. 7 trips is not a lot in 3 games. Now penalty flags thrown. And that's going to be a costly penalty against the Cowboys.
Right to the snap. false start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Isaac Schoenfeld, one of the 4 or 5 tight ends that plays for Wyoming.
You see Wyoming really trying to slow down this game. They're taking their time. They're going to huddle. They want to keep this football away from Colorado as much as they can and really try to shrink the game by trying to control this clock methodically.
I don't think we've seen John Michael Gillenborg in the game. Scott gets the carry and fights his way down close to the 10. Gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and goal from there.
Good tough running inside, but at some point in this game, Wyoming is going to need to test the perimeter, and Caden Anderson's going to need to find a way to make a play with his arm. If Colorado keeps tempting him with all this man coverage, he needs to find a matchup that he likes and try to take advantage of it.
Maybe it can be the other tight end, Svoboda. Gillenborg, if he's not going to play tonight, he's been banged up. That would be a loss for Wyoming. He's a good player. From the pocket toward the end zone, knocked away. That was a dangerous pass through a lot of traffic. And Hodge, another play on the ball for Preston Hodge.
It's a really nice play by Hodge and just great recognition. He's in man coverage on a different receiver that Caden Anderson's trying to throw the football to, but he just recognizes that the ball's coming in his area. You see the extension using all of his 6-foot frame. Great job getting a hand on that ball.
So now 3rd and goal. Wyoming's got to get a player off the field quickly and get organized. Now Colorado's going to use a timeout, even though Wyoming was the team that looked confused. Colorado calls a timeout.
30-second timeout.
All right, back in Boulder, and Toad Harris, the big play on this Wyoming drive as we honor those who serve, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Samuel Toad Harris comes from a military family. Terica, his mom, who is a hospital corpsman and command career counselor. Been in the Navy for 17 years, been stationed all over the world, including a lot of time spent in Japan. Samuel loved it when he lived in Japan. His mom's a huge part of his life. Very close, and Samuel's a talented young running back.
He certainly is. Mountain West Freshman of the Week a week ago, over 100 yards of total offense. Thank you for your service, Terica, and to everyone else out there that keeps us safe.
On 3rd and goal, toward the end zone, and a leaping attempt, no catch. And no penalty flag this time. Jalen being the intended target. Makari Vickers getting the start tonight at defensive back, was there to make the play.
Boy, I thought that was a pretty darn good throw by Caden Anderson. He recognizes the pressure by Colorado, gets the football out of his hand. He gives his wide receiver an opportunity to make a play. Good job by Vickers, forcing the incompletion.
I mean, all the ones that were called pass interference, to me, that was the one that actually was pass interference. I'm sure Colorado fans are thinking, well, now maybe we're a little closer to even. Field goal try is up and good from 28 yards out. So a nice long drive that the Cowboys desperately needed, and they turn it into 3 points.
Yeah, that's a big deal for Wyoming. A definitely confidence builder here in the 2nd quarter. You didn't have much success at the start of the game offensively getting anything going unless Colorado committed a penalty. But that was a really good, healthy drive. Harris had a great run that really sparked this offense, and Anderson slowly started to get in a flow of the game, get some completions on that drive.
All right, so the kick went through. For 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you, Allstate. It's good to be a kicker in Boulder.
Oh yeah, that altitude helps you.
Mile above sea level. Maybe Laramie, now Laramie, you got some wind, you got some other issues. University of Wyoming is even higher elevation by like 1,500 feet.
Yeah, but to your point, in this stadium, it's enclosed. You get the elevation and the altitude, so the ball goes farther. Good place to kick footballs.
9:39 to go, 2nd quarter, and the kickoff is going to go into the end zone, and it will be returned. So Colorado's going to bring it out, and the true freshman gets popped short of the 20-yard line. The Buffaloes will take over there, but first things first, let's go to Kevin Connors in studio for an update.
All right, Flem, your AT&T studio update. After Florida cut the Miami lead to 13-7, Trevor, Shamar Brown, and Mark Fletcher Jr. put things away.
They were very balanced on offense and didn't try to do too much because they knew their defense would shut down the Florida offense, and they did.
Miami gets to 4-0 on the year. Florida 1-3 for the first time since the mid-'80s.
All right, Kevin. Well, it turns out, Brock, that the final score would indicate kind of a comfortable Miami win. It didn't seem like it was anything like that.
No, Florida brought their A game today. That looked like a really competitive game until late, but I'll tell you what, Miami's looking good this year on both sides of the football, and I think Carson Beck is back to the form that we saw him in a couple seasons ago for the Georgia Bulldogs.
We already talked about next Friday, Florida State goes to Charlottesville to play a much better Virginia team. They're going to have to resist looking ahead because the week after that, they host the Canes.
Big one. Ooh, big rivalry.
Oh, boy.
That'll be fun.
Second down for Colorado. Caden Salter and the offense back on the field. A little swing pass left side and a nice turn upfield by Michael Welch, getting a chance to play on this drive, and that's Colorado first down.
I'll tell you what, these Colorado running backs have really impressed me with their hands out of the backfield. Welch just does such a good job catching this football, and at 5'9", 215 pounds, he's tough to bring down. Low center of gravity, great contact balance. It's kind of like a bowling ball out there. I'll tell you what, he's been really impressive in the pass game.
Just enough of a block from the tight end Zach Atkins to get around that corner. Now a delivery, and Miller dropped it. Oh, Marion Miller, who had the touchdown catch last drive, this time had it in his hands, and it went right through his hands.
And this is what's been so frustrating for Coach Sanders. He told us yesterday, I just want consistency. He knows he has a good roster. He has talented players, but there's no excuse for the drop there. And now, instead of being 2nd and 5, 2nd and 3, you're at 2nd and 10, and you're already behind the sticks.
Taylor is going to jump over to Caden Salter's left side, and Salter will keep it straight ahead, trying to bounce it around the corner. Couldn't do it. Got tackled by Ben Florentine.
Florentine, what a great story. Former walk-on linebacker at Wyoming, but since he arrived a couple years ago, put on 60 pounds, works his tail off, and now he plays nose tackle for the Cowboys.
I was about to say, that does not look like a linebacker to me.
60 pounds later, that's what you get.
He's played really well. He's had a sack in every game this year for Wyoming.
It's a big third down for Colorado. Wyoming showing pressure.
And then they back off and rush 4. Salter flushed out to the right, trying to point downfield. Bought time, and a perfect pass to Sincere Brown, who's going to go all the way for a touchdown. Now that was a big-time play from the quarterback, Caden Salter. 68 yards.
That's the Caden Salter Colorado fans want to see. You see Deion Sanders fired up on the sideline. That's what they expect out of their quarterback. He is as dangerous as anybody when he gets outside the pocket. Wyoming did not do a good job of caging him in on third down, and he makes this Cowboys defense pay in a big way.
And Sincere Brown showed off the speed to turn 94 Travis Hunter. Trying to build on that this year.
The prime effect is so real. Enrollment, season tickets, sold out stadiums every weekend. What Deion Sanders has brought to Boulder is so impressive.
It really is amazing. You and I have been here for a couple days, walking around this town. I mean, it is family weekend, so there are lots of parents and friends and family who are here. It feels like an SEC town leading up to a football game. Everybody getting ready for the game all day long. Last night, look at all the followers they've generated on social media.
Millions.
The economic impact. Student applications are way up. Anderson in the pocket's going to throw middle, and that was right through the hands of Justin Erb, one of the tight ends who was wide open in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that's a play he needs to make for his quarterback. Football hits his hands. You're going to be more in a third and manageable situation. Instead, now you're behind the sticks. It's 3rd and 10. This crowd's going to get into into it, and this defensive line is going to be able to tee off because they know that this is an obvious passing situation for Wyoming.
Well, the Wyoming folks gave us zero info about their star tight end not playing in this game, but he's not been on the field, and it's obviously a loss for them. Pressure comes. Anderson rolling right, penalty flag thrown. He's going to keep it stretch ahead, and with the spot, if the play were to stand, it would be a first down, but this one may be a hold. We'll see who it's against. It's against Wyoming. I mean, they're looking to the other sideline like Colorado would decline that penalty. I believe they're going to accept it.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty, third down.
It's Caden Barnett, the right guard.
Yeah, just when Anderson got outside the pocket, Barnett gets caught with the hold. Here's where he starts at that right guard. Keep an eye on him as Anderson moves outside the pocket. It's a little too handsy, and anytime you take a defensive lineman down to the ground like that, it's just an easy call for the officials.
Guy he was battling with there, Amari McNeil, he's been very active in this first half. So now third down and long, and they'll just hand the ball off. And that freshman running back, Harris, he looks good out across the 25, but well short of a first down. Gain of 11. Wyoming will have to punt the ball.
Great stop by the Colorado defense, but I tell you what, Tote Harris is bringing some juice to this Wyoming offense. Offensive coordinator Jay Johnson, he's going to need to find a way, whether it's in the run game or pass game, to continue to get Harris the football because he's bringing some energy to this offense.
7 carries, 74 yards. So the punt team out there for Wyoming. Edmiston with Quentin Gibson, the ultra quick freshman return man, going backwards, still backpedaling. And they'll have a little room. There's that burst. He got hit, though, in the middle of the field. Good open field tackle. Colorado's offense comes back out there. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. You can catch NFL Countdown. Randy Moss, who was just here, by the way, this week in Boulder, visiting with the Colorado team. He's going to visit with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson for a conversation. Jared Verse, all access with the NFL's Trash Talk King. And then 15 years later, the Beast Quake. And then on Monday, one of the games of the week in the NFL, maybe the game of the week, Lions and Ravens on Monday night. Peyton and Eli will have the alt-cast on ESPN2. You and Peyton made some good memories just down the road from here in Boulder.
Absolutely. We had some good times here in Denver.
Hopefully he's watching us tonight.
That's going to be a good one, though, Monday night with the Lions, Ravens, two teams playing really good football right now.
Maybe Brock Osweiler will show up on the Peyton and Eli cast sometime this year. Traylon Miller with a nice catch just short of midfield. Another good delivery from Salter.
You know what? I am really impressed with Caden Salter tonight. He was challenged by his head coach. He said, I want the guy that we saw at Liberty to step up, be a leader, be consistent for this football team, be the guy that I know you can be. And Caden Salter has certainly answered that. 7 for 10, 159 yards and 2 touchdowns already here in the first half.
I mean, without out and out saying it publicly, he got benched basically as a message, do it my way or you're not going to play.
And you really got the sense that this was going to be almost like a one-game tryout. Hey, you get one more chance to go out there and prove yourself to be the starting quarterback of this football team, and he's done a phenomenal job tonight.
Deion Sanders told us, I mean, he did not mince words about it. If we don't see it from him, somebody else is going to be out there. Salter across the middle, and that's another nice delivery. Hakeem Williams, I said across the middle, more towards the left sideline. Williams with the catch and turn upfield, another Colorado first down.
Salter just looks comfortable tonight. He's seeing the field so well. He's taken what the defense has given him. He hasn't forced any passes. I thought he's done a really, really good job of getting outside the pocket, using his legs. That's where he's most comfortable. He's making some really good decisions with the football right now.
Just looks way better. Handoff left side, and Down to the 35-yard line to Kalen Taylor.
You know, and people forget, you know, Caden Salter was in a quarterback battle with Julian Lewis and, you know, the highly touted 5-star freshman that came in. So he was splitting reps. And then when you have to split reps and you're trying to learn a new system, it's hard on a quarterback. It takes time, and then he's only played really a game and a quarter until tonight. So you kind of get the sense that he's getting a lot more comfortable and confident with what Pat Shurmur's trying to do offensively.
Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Salter, little pump fake, now going to scramble right, still looking downfield, and that one was dropped right to Miller along the sideline. Third down coming up. Pat Shurmur, long history in the NFL. Now Deion Sanders, offensive coordinator here.
Yeah, over 2 decades in the NFL. He's been an offensive coordinator between the NFL and college ranks for over 15 seasons. Really smart guy when it comes to scheming up defenses, and talking to him last night was pretty interesting when we started talking about the quarterback situation. But you have to think that he is very impressed with what he's seen out of Caden Salter tonight, because he is running this offense really effectively.
Shotgun snap. The pressure comes. Salter gets away again. Salter is going to have to throw it away. So the pressure definitely impacted that play. 4th and 7. Long field goal range here, and you wonder whether they have a kicker with a big leg who doesn't take most of the field goal attempts, but it looks like the offense is staying on the field.
It's a nice job by Wyoming's defense, especially their secondary. There was nowhere to go with that football down the field for Salter. And you're right, Flem, this Colorado offense is staying out. The play clock's winding down. They're going to have to make a move if they're going to go for it here. We're inside 10 seconds.
Yeah, got to get organized here. Micah Welch alongside Salter, and now Colorado just wasn't comfortable with a big play, and were they absolutely ready for it? So timeout called by the Buffaloes. But 4th and 7 coming up, and we'll see if Colorado decides to go for it after they talk things over. How about a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Goodyear. Now, a bunch of the top teams didn't play. What do you think the big story is in the top 10 this week?
Boy, for me, it's that Illinois and Indiana game that we actually just talked about a little bit ago. The way Fernando Mendoza played for the Hoosiers today, I mean, that is a really good Illinois football team. And Indiana flat out took it to them, 63-10. I mean, that's big time. So that stands out to me. And then obviously, you know, Miami getting the win at home, and they're looking really good through the first couple weeks of the season.
Well, the people who know the most about this sport of anybody are game day crew. We watch them picking games, and everybody but McAfee picked Illinois, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, good ball club. And you know, Brett Bielema, he has those guys going. They're a tough physical team. But Indiana showed a lot today, the way they performed.
63.
It's impressive.
They're going to take a big jump up. All right, out of the timeout.
This surprises me a bit, because Colorado is in field goal range. 4th and 7. This is a tough one to pick up.
Blitz comes for Wyoming. Salter's going to throw toward the end zone. Miller, jump ball knocked away. Penalty flag thrown. Omarion Miller, the intended target. And Marquis Grant was there with coverage. They call the penalty on him, I believe.
I don't like that call.
Pass interference. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
I think both guys are making a play on the football. Marquis Grant, as the defender, has just as much right to go for this ball. Yes, there's a little bit of contact down the field. But you see the DB, he gets his head around. Yes, there's a little bit of contact. You see the left hand, but I think that should be a no call.
We've had some unusual pass interference calls in this first half.
And what a break for Colorado, because you're about to give the football back to Wyoming with good field position. Huge break for the Buffalo.
Instead, now it's 1st and 10. Play fake across the middle. What a catch by Miller. And he spins away. Still going inside the 5 all the way down. Looks like to the 1-yard line. 19 more yards for Omarion. Miller's having a big first half.
It's a big time play by Miller. Great throw by Salter off the play action.
Quick tempo. Handoff. Goal line. Touchdown. Simeon Price gets in. And just 2 plays after the penalty, extended the drive. The Buffaloes score their third touchdown of the first half.
See if Price got in, give it one more look. Boy, I sure think that football crossed before any body part was down. That's touchdown Colorado. And what a great job by this Buffalo's offense. They were challenged coming into this football game. Already over 230 yards of total offense. Caden Salter looking like a completely different player tonight. And this offense is hitting on all cylinders.
Well, Wyoming's an underdog in this game for sure, but they're a solid defensive team. So I'm with you. Colorado's offense, this is by far the best they've played overall this year. Coach Prime is pumped up. He challenged all of his players this week after what happened last week.
And this was exactly what Deion Sanders expects out of his football team. Complimentary football. The defense has been lights out. Offense is hitting on all cylinders. And he said it to me this summer. He said, listen, you can't replace Shedeur Sanders. You can't replace Travis Hunter. But this is a better football team than I had a season ago when we won 9 games. We hadn't seen that through the first 3 weeks of the season. But we are certainly seeing that here tonight.
While we have a moment, we'll remind you tomorrow our final Sunday night baseball matchup of the regular season. And it's an important game in the American League West. Mariners, Astros fighting right down to the final week. 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio. Coverage begins over on ESPN2 at 6 with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. We talked a little baseball with Coach Prime last night. He had great memories of his time. I specifically talked some Giants baseball with him.
Dusty Baker, right?
He said the highlight of my time with the Giants was Dusty Baker. Yeah. And he said Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player I've ever seen.
Yeah, put a big smile on his face when you brought up his name. That was pretty cool.
Well, now can Wyoming respond? Maybe one of the true all-time great football players. And he spent parts of 9 seasons in the big leagues. A lot of that with the Atlanta Braves while he was playing with the Falcons. He had that memorable day where he played an NFL game and then went over across town and played a World Series game. Incredible.
So cool.
It's just hard to state how difficult that is to pull off. And he did it. Big drive for the Cowboys. Harris is going to get the carry and just couldn't get away. Tackle for no gain. Let's go down to Stormy.
And you guys have mentioned a lot today the absence of John Michael Gillenborg out here on the field for Wyoming. He did come out in padded warm-ups, looked comfortable enough, was in pads with the helmet on, but obviously now on the sideline, been with the helmet off all half to this point. And they're also without their starting left tackle, Nathan Geiger, who went out in this game, was very emotional walking to the locker room, went straight back there, and we have not seen him since.
Good updates from Stormy. Two really important players for a Wyoming team that doesn't have a ton of big-time weapons on offense. And now playing from behind, wide open across the middle. One of those tight ends, and what a move. Forget what I said about no weapons. That's Evan Svoboda, who last year was the starting quarterback.
Svoboda just gets lost in the coverage by Colorado. There's nobody on him. And you see Anderson working all the way left, back to his right, finds his tight end late. And what a pickup for Wyoming. Just lost in coverage, no one around him.
Just across midfield, and that gets us to the 2-minute timeout before halftime. So the plan. All right, Kevin, thanks. We'll look forward to that. Nothing boring these days when Dabo Swinney is involved. Clemson struggling big time. I do think the Big 12, I mean, it is hard to figure out, and who knows? I know it's been a terrible start to the year for Colorado by their high standards, but they play like this, they could get right back in the mix and be a factor in the Big 12.
I think the Big 12 is a wide-open race with about a half dozen teams.
Anderson throws, and that one incomplete. Trying to hit Michael Fitzgerald. So now it's going to be 3rd down from right around midfield.
As we get into conference play, you know, the Big 12 will start to separate itself. But, you know, I'm thinking back to that Texas Tech-Utah game today. How good did Tech look? Will Hammond, the young quarterback, coming in for an injured Baron Morton. Big 12 is going to be fun to watch this year.
You lose your starting quarterback plan at Rice Eccles in Salt Lake City. Usually that doesn't go well. They ended up blowing him out.
Colorado showing pressure. Anderson needs to find a quick place to go with this football.
Trying to get points on the board. Blitz came quickly. Anderson being pursued, and that one is incomplete over the head of his wide receiver. That's Bryson Brantley. So now it's 4th and 12, and so much for that. Wyoming will have to punt it back to Colorado.
Just nowhere to go with the football. Colorado didn't disguise anything. They showed that they were going to bring an all-out blitz. But Anderson, every route that he was trying to throw was a down-the-field type throw. There was no quick place to go with the football. Credit Colorado for getting their offense back out there on the field after this punt.
Buffalo's going to get the ball to start the second half. They've already put points on the board late in this first half. Now, a minute 26, not impossible that they could get something going again.
It's huge, and don't forget, they get the football to start the third quarter. It's Wyoming defense. They're going to have to bow up and get a stop.
That punt toward the sideline and out of bounds. And this one, we'll see where they spot this. Might be decent field position. Last 3 drives for Colorado all resulted in touchdowns. 85-yard drive, 81-yard drive, 67-yard drive. And some big plays.
Yeah, and I really think the big thing to note is Caden Salter. You see the touch that he's putting on the football, getting outside the pocket where he's so dangerous. And then for the 3rd touchdown, punching it in with Price. But Caden Salter, he's just been fantastic tonight. 9 of 14, $187, and 2 touchdowns. He's really created a spark for this Colorado offense. And he's answering the challenge that Deion Sanders put out this week.
Now, the 3 of us were not sure how he was going to respond. Just didn't have a great feeling yesterday after meeting with all the Colorado folks. He's played great. Now, though, going backwards into the end zone, rolling to his left, and he'll flip it and get it across the line of scrimmage out of bounds. So it took some time, but he didn't take a loss.
No, and good coverage down the field by Wyoming. Nowhere to go with that football. And Salter learning from a mistake he made in the first half. Good job throwing that football away and saving the field position.
Bob Shermer looking at that play sheet with 1:07 to go. No timeouts for Colorado. That complicates it a little bit. But all you got to do is get maybe across midfield, and you at least get a chance with your big long-range kicker. Price in the backfield, play fake to him. Salter again on the move. He'll stop, get hit, and throws it out of bounds. Now a penalty flag thrown. I think they're going to call the defensive lineman who hit Salter and really drove him to the turf. Tice Westland is going to be penalized. That's a killer for Wyoming.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 40. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You know, I don't see the roughing the passer. That's on Westland late in the play. But as long as Salter holds the football, I mean, Westland's getting there in an appropriate time, and it's not like he's doing a punishing action on top of the quarterback, which would signal that personal foul. I don't really agree with the call there.
I guess they didn't like the finish to the tackle, but man, that's huge.
Looked like a football play to me.
He was wrapping him up when Salter still had the ball. And that was definitely not a late hit. They called it roughing the passer. Price in the backfield. Big first down for Colorado. Salter from the pocket. That ball is caught in the middle of the field by Isaiah Harge. Just a gain of 5 and the clock moves.
Yeah, and Colorado has no timeouts, so they need to get on the football, play with some tempo. They're about 30 yards away from field goal range for Buchanan. He needs to get to the 40-yard line to have a try.
Precious seconds ticking away, under 40 seconds. Salter scrambling, buying some extra time. Still scrambling, looking downfield. He's going to throw across the middle, incomplete. Hit a couple guys there, Miller plus the running back Price. That play took a long time. 24 seconds remaining on the clock.
Ton of time went off the clock. You have to give Wyoming and their secondary a lot of credit. They're doing a great job with a very talented Colorado wide receiver room. But Salter needs to start playing with a little more urgency and kind of quicken up his internal clock. With no timeouts and only 24 seconds left on the clock, he needs to find a way to push this ball down the field if they're going to try to get points before half.
3rd and 5. If you get the first down, even if the clock stops to set the chains, you got to be in hustle mode. Pressure came immediately, and Salter just threw it into the ground. I don't know if anybody was there. Maybe the running back Taylor, maybe.
Trying to set up a halfback screen to Taylor. Kind of lost him behind the offensive line at 5'9", 165 pounds. Tough target to find. Give Wyoming a lot of credit, though. Holding up in a situation where they could not give up points.
Number 20 was in the area of the pass to be fourth down.
Okay, so 20 was enough in the area to avoid the penalty. Tice Westland, by the way, who was called for that roughing the passer penalty, came back on the field and helped force that incompletion. So now Colorado's just got to avoid a special teams disaster. I guess you could say the same on the Wyoming side. He's secure with the ball. They're going to pressure the punter. Didn't matter. They might have made contact with the punter. No penalty flag. And then the catch inside the 10 along the right sideline. That was dangerous.
58-yard punt returned out.
Booming 58-yard punt. With 9 seconds on the clock, I would think Wyoming will just take a knee.
I agree, Flem. We'll see if Jay Savell wants to try to push this football down the field, but with 9 seconds, just so difficult to try to get into field goal range or even a spot where you can throw a Hail Mary. You got to think Wyoming's going to feel decent about this first half and head to halftime.
Just 115 yards of offense. That really hurt them. Defense probably overall played better than the total yardage and even the points would indicate. There's the knee. And a little shoving at the end of that play. Final seconds will tick off the clock. And the teams will separate and get pointed to the locker room. So it's halftime. Colorado, maybe their best half of the season so far. A 21-3 lead. Stormy's getting organized over there and looking for Coach Sanders. I think she's got it. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, Coach, that last drive for Caden Salter probably not as indicative of how he has performed this half. What do you think of it?
Football, but you know what? He's been playing a darn good game. We were just telling him we want to run that clock out, and we don't get our first downs. We was trying to get across the 50 because we got a field goal kicking Buck Buchanan. That if we get across the 50, he can make it. So we was trying to get him a shot, but we weren't able to. But he's been playing good football.
Defensively, it feels like the biggest plays you've given them have been penalties. How much of an emphasis will this be?
Well, you can't take your aggressiveness away from your DBs. I want them to stay aggressive, but we can't make foolish penalties either. But overall, we're playing a suffice game. We just got to come out second half. I believe we get the kickoff, and we got to go do our thing.
Thank you.
God bless.
13 on the night.
Kickoff is going to go into the end zone and through the end zone. Let's go down to Stormy.
Yeah, you guys were so complimentary of Caden Salter, but to your point, Brock, the same cannot be said about what we've seen from Caden Anderson to this point. But talking to his head coach, Jay Savell, he says not just Caden. We need to block. We need to get through holes. We've been a mess offensively, and said, quite frankly, on both sides of the ball, third down has been a massive problem. 0 for 5 on third down as an offense, but allowing this Colorado offense to convert 5 of their 8 third down attempts. Explosive plays have been a problem, and he said they have to get it cleaned up to have any chance of clawing back into this game.
All right, thanks, Stormy.
Well, Wyoming takes a lot of pride in keeping the lid on the defense, keeping plays in front of them. They did give up some explosive plays to Colorado. We'll see if they can stop that here in the second half.
All right, first play of the second half, and a really nice run by Micah Welch, who gets across the 30 and all the way out to the 33. So 8 yards on the first play from scrimmage, but that's Simeon Price, his counterpart in the backfield, who's down.
For an injured player on the offense.
Price is kind of peeling himself up off the turf now. Yikes. Hobbling off the field. Just putting very little weight on that right leg. Hopefully Simeon Price is okay. He's been a good story on this Colorado team.
Yeah, he really has, and you hate to see that. This is a young man that this is his 4th school that he's been to, and he's had a tough career, but he's finally starting to get it going. He's kind of been the lead back for Colorado this season. Hopefully we see him back out here tonight.
He did not look great going to the sideline. Play fake. Salter now is going to improvise, and there goes Caden Salter. He'll take a hit and break a tackle across midfield. Finally go out of bounds in Wyoming territory.
Excellent job by Caden Salter. Look at the top of your screen. This is an RPO. He won wants to throw to his wide receiver in the one-on-one situation up top, but the receiver's not ready for the football. He's just out there stock blocking like a run play. Salter does the next best thing with the football, tucks it, runs, and picks up an explosive gain for this offense.
Yeah, that could have been a really negative play. Instead, 20-yard gain for Salter. Looking downfield again, going deep, end zone, in traffic, and caught! Touchdown! Joseph Williams. It barely took a minute, and Colorado goes down the field and gets back in the end zone.
You're going to see a play-action pass, but here's Williams right in the slot, and he's just going to run a streak route right down the middle of the field. Nothing flashy here, but he catches that Wyoming middle field safety flat-footed. And what a throw by Caden Salter, exactly where that ball needed to be. He's been showing off his accuracy all night long. Another excellent pass and big-time play by this Colorado offense.
The turnaround that Colorado needed. This beautiful Rocky Mountain night in Boulder, Colorado, where the Buffaloes are playing their best game by far so far this year. And they were 2 touchdown favorites over Wyoming coming into tonight, but they played just by far their best football of the season, and a very quick touchdown drive to start the second half for the Buffaloes. Their quarterback's just been awesome.
He's been so impressive tonight. Back against the wall, benched a couple weeks ago, back in the starting lineup, and look at that, 11 of 19, 239, 3 touchdowns. Really, that's just in one half of football. He's been excellent, and the thing that's really impressed me most with Caden Salter tonight, he's just being decisive with his decision making. Whether he's throwing the football or tucking it and running it, he just looks confident in the decisions that he's been making, and he's been really fun to watch here.
That goes without saying. If Wyoming has any chance of even making this second half close, they got to get the offense going. They'll set up a screen pass on first down. That was well executed. I thought well blocked, but there's a penalty flag back in the backfield. So for now, it's a first down Cowboys, but see what the penalty is.
Sideline warning, Colorado. This is their first and only warning of the game. The result of the play is a first down.
Okay.
Really good start to the drive there for Wyoming. That's exactly what they needed to get this thing going down 28-3. Got to find a way to get Caden Anderson in rhythm. Just 5 of 14 on the night. I love dialing up a quick screenplay to help your quarterback out.
Just the warning penalty flag, 13 yards. Now Anderson is going to keep it, and he'll dive forward. They'll spot him right where that dive started to go down at the 44-yard line. Still, though, pick up of 6 on first down. Caden Anderson, still a young quarterback, just a sophomore. The bar's pretty high at Wyoming based on one guy. Josh Allen, who played his college ball in Laramie. Play fake for Caden Anderson. Going deep across the middle into coverage and almost intercepted. Trying to hit Eric Richardson, but DJ McKinney was there.
That was a really nice play by DJ McKinney, using all of his length at 6'2". He's one of the better corners in the country. A lot of conversation about McKinney being a potential first-round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. See the break on the football there. This is a very critical third down for Wyoming. Desperately, they need this down 28-3. I expect Colorado to bring pressure. Anderson needs to be ready to make a quick decision.
Colorado doesn't bring pressure. Anderson's got all the time in the world. Now throws it short and right off of Kelman. Incomplete. Now a penalty flag, maybe roughing the passer. That might bail Wyoming out. See.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I think there was a late hit to the helmet of Caden Anderson. Look right in the middle of your screen right there, 92. You're going to see late right there, some contact to the quarterback's helmet. Gets a fresh set of downs for the Wyoming Cowboys.
Further review for potential targeting on the defense.
Yeah, I think they saw the same thing that you saw, where not only is that a 15-yard penalty, but now they're going to check it for targeting.
Well, we know Anderson's defenseless. There's step one. Step two, there is contact to the head or neck area. And then three, the indicator's clear.
Yeah, back at Boulder, we had a booth-initiated review to check for targeting, and Amquin Barnes has been disqualified for targeting. One last look at this hit, which was first just ruled a late hit on the quarterback. Jerry McGinn is our rules analyst. We have Jerry staying up late night with us. Jerry, you want to give us your summary of what you saw?
Yes, Dave. So initially, the referee threw the flag for roughing the passer, which was correct. Replay added the targeting, which was a launching to the helmet area, unnecessary hit, and unfortunately, he'll be disqualified for this rest of this game and first half of next game.
All right, Jerry, thanks. Meanwhile, well, that changes things a little bit, doesn't it?
How about that? Given the gift, personal foul. Wyoming was about to have to punt the football. Instead, they get a first down, and one play later, there's the strike that Caden Anderson needed. Going to Eric Richardson down the sideline, does a little stutter and go on Makari Vickers. And what a play by the Cowboys.
Their first touchdown of the night, and maybe Wyoming's got some life in this game. 41 yards and a perfect pass from Anderson after the move that Richardson made to get free. Now the extra point coming. 2 quick strike touchdowns early in the second half. Kick is up and good.
Yeah, I want to go back to the touchdown. It's Richardson working on the young cornerback Vickers right here at the top of your screen. And watch the double move. You're going to see a little stutter and go by Eric Richardson. Excellent job being patient on the route. Gets the DB to hesitate for just a half a step. And that's all Wyoming needed to get into the end zone.
Wyoming has had 2 big plays. One in the run game. This is their first big play in the pass game.
And it was huge. Caden Anderson desperately needed it. He's been bottled up all night, really struggling to push this football down the field for his offense. But that was an excellent throw, exactly where it needed to be. And now he has his ball club right back in the game where they want to be.
Showed a little swagger after that. He went over to the students and started to have a few words with some of the Colorado students who are here.
You know, and he's had a tough night, but he's a talented kid. You know, big-time career down at South Lake Carroll in Texas. You know, and he's a young player, just making his 7th career start tonight. He gets better every single week that he plays. And the coaching staff gave him a lot of praise when we talked to them this week.
You don't take the Greg McElroy quarterback chair at South Lake if you don't have some talent.
That's right.
Kick return here, and around the corner, the speedy freshman all the way to the 40, and then how about that cut back inside? Wow. That was really impressive by Quentin Gibson. You can see why they like him so much.
That is a name to remember, college football fans. Just a true freshman. And when we talked to Deion Sanders last night, he said this kid has the green light to take this football out of the end zone anywhere that it goes, because he is just that talented and explosive and dangerous with the football in his hands. What a return, and his teammates are loving it.
A big-time player. Speaking of Texas high school football, Quentin Gibson put up huge numbers in high school. He is a weapon in the return game. So the Buffaloes start outside their own 45-yard line, handed off on the right side, and Taylor had nowhere to go. Dropped, in fact, lost by a yard. Let's go down to Stormy.
Well, Dave, good news and bad news for Colorado running back Simeon Price. The bad news, he did have to leave the field in an air cast after getting a lot of attention to that right ankle. Deion Sanders told him, I'm shutting you down. He did try to talk him out of it a little bit, but you know how Deion Sanders wants to do the best for his athletes. The good news is that I saw him talking to his mom on the sideline afterwards as well, was all smiles, telling her he's okay. So hopefully this isn't anything long term.
Okay, good report. A kid definitely worth rooting for. Now Omarion Miller makes another catch across midfield to set up 3rd down and short.
Tell you what, Salter is just on point tonight. He is making throws that he did not make week 1 against Georgia Tech or even week 2 against Delaware when he was playing. He is really seeing the field well tonight.
You got to give Deion Sanders some credit for what he did to spark this kid.
I have a good feeling this is 4-down territory for Colorado. Don't be surprised if you see a run here or you get Salter outside the pocket.
Now Colorado moved, so that might change things. Kareem Harden playing left tackle.
Offense, number 55, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So Jordan Seaton was not in for that play. Their outstanding young left tackle. That was Kareem Harden who committed the penalty.
You still get the sense just where the football is relative for field position that this is 4-down territory for Colorado. They want to try to go keep their foot on the gas and get more points here. Just need a positive play by Caden Salter to make it 4th and manageable.
Tight end came in motion. Pressure picked up. Salter throws to Miller, who gets tackled in the open field. And they'll spot that ball at the 48. That means 4th and 4 if Colorado does decide to go for it.
It was a huge tackle by Boss. If he doesn't make that tackle, that's probably a touchdown for Colorado. I'm surprised by this decision here at midfield. Up 18. Your offense has done some really good things tonight. I'm surprised he's not keeping the football in Caden Salter's hands right now.
I think I am too. Maybe that long touchdown from Wyoming is just a little concerned about really giving the Cowboys some real life. Greaves, who's done an excellent job punting that one, is going to bounce, and what a bounce. Wow. You cannot execute it any better than that. What a punt. Visit cancerbike-ride.org to support a very worthy cause.
Just amazing. Wow.
Go get him, Christine. All right, Wyoming gets the ball back after Colorado punted it. Still a long way to go in this game, and the touchdown the last time the Cowboys had it maybe has given Wyoming a little life.
Listen, I was just going to say there is new life injected into this football team. I'm anxious to see what Caden Anderson does here on this drive. Can he keep the momentum going for his football team and go get more points?
3-yard run on 1st down. Handoff and a nice hole right side. Now, this young freshman can run the rock. He is going to be a good one, I think, for Wyoming. Samuel Harris.
I tell you what, Tote Harris has brought a huge spark to this football team, and he's someone week 1 didn't get a ton of playing time. I believe it was about 9 snaps. Then he got to double-digit snaps week 2. And when we talked to the coaching staff this week, they said he has proven to us, although he's just a true freshman, we have to find ways to get the football in his hands because good things happen.
Another player from Texas, lots of those in this game. Play fake to Harris. Anderson's going to throw down the seam, and that's caught in stride and all the way out to midfield. Chris Durr Jr. Another big play in the pass game for the Cowboys.
This is a big-time throw. I tell you what, Caden Anderson is really starting to get into rhythm in this football game here in the second half. Really nice route by Chris Durr in the slot, just beating the man-to-man coverage. And that's on DJ McKinney, who, like I said earlier, might be a first-round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. That is a big-time throw and catch.
That's 32 yards. And just like that, Wyoming from very poor field position into Colorado territory. Handoff, there's Harris. Power run over the left side this time, inside the 45, down to the 43.
Tell you what, it's getting a little chippy down there on the field. We've seen a few kind of late shoves, and Jaws are running down there. And Wyoming, I understand it. Listen, they're a physical football team, and Colorado just a couple series ago thought they had complete control of this football game, but new life for Wyoming.
7.5 minutes to go still in the 3rd quarter. Shotgun snap, and that pass complete. Again to Durr, who scoots out of bounds. Did they spot him short? I thought he got the 1st down. They spotted him a yard short. don't know about that spot.
I agree. I think that was a clear-cut first down. This is something Wyoming might want to look at. That's critical.
That makes you run a 3rd and 1 play.
If I'm Wyoming, I'd be challenging the spot, but here we go, 3rd and short. Wildcat formation. Svoboda, starting quarterback a season ago, converted tight end in at the quarterback spot.
So he'll take the direct snap, play fake it, run right side, no problem on that one. That looked pretty powerful. First down and more, Wyoming.
Boy, this Wyoming offensive front, they're really starting to control the line of scrimmage, and you have to wonder, this Colorado defense, they've been on the field a lot here in the 3rd quarter, starting to get wore down a little bit by the front 5 for the Cowboys.
You see that great logo on the Wyoming helmet, the historic bucking bronco, steamboat, the horse. Colorado thought they'd kicked Wyoming to the dirt. They can't get rid of them. They're hanging around. Handoff, left side run. The ground game now working. Sam Scott this time down to the 26.
We are going to get 2 pulling guards by Wyoming. And with this man defense that Colorado's playing, they just kind of get out of their gap, and there's plenty of air in the front for Sam Scott. Like I said, this offensive front, they're starting to take control of this football game, and this is how Wyoming wants to play. Ground and pound and get the football pushed down the field with Caden Anderson.
Once again, Scott in the backfield on 2nd down and call it 4. Hand off Scott. Made a cut straight ahead, and he gets down to the 23. You need another yard for a first down. Maybe you go Wildcat again.
Well, it's certainly 4-down territory if I'm Wyoming. You have the momentum right now, so you really have 2 plays to get 1 yard. It's either you put the ball on the ground and you go get this first down, or you kind of do the reverse psychology. They're coming out in the Wildcat. You see Colorado selling out to stop the run. Don't be surprised if he maybe throws the football here.
He is a quarterback, as you said. He's going to keep it, and he'll get the first down. I mean, unlike some Wildcat scenarios where there's basically no threat of a throw, with Evans-Svoboda, there is a real threat to throw the ball.
Well, that's right. And the reason why I'm saying, hey, don't be surprised is because Colorado, they were selling out to stop the run. That is an all-out blitz. They had no safeties back deep, so there was a good look to throw the football if Wyoming wanted to. But nevertheless, great job picking up a fresh set of downs.
I wonder if Deion Sanders starting to get a little more concerned over on that Colorado sideline. First down, Cowboys. Anderson over the top toward the end zone, incomplete.
Wow. I'm surprised that wasn't defensive pass interference. There was a lot of contact down the field there by Preston Hodge. This is Chris Durr working on Preston Hodge. You see some jersey getting tugged on there, and I really think that prevented Durr from being able to make a play on that football. I think that was an excellent throw. It was exactly where that football needed to be on the back shoulder, but because Durr was being held, he couldn't make a play on the ball.
I'm with you. Very inconsistent on both sides, in my opinion. Pass interference calls tonight. Handoff on 2nd and long to Harris. And this time Colorado had their middle linebacker Reginald Hughes there to make the tackle. Remember, Quinn Barnes was ejected from this game for targeting. He's one of their biggest, strongest guys in the middle of the defensive line. Maybe part of the reason why Wyoming's starting to move the ball a little better.
That's a really good point. If I'm offensive coordinator Jay Johnson here, you have to expect Colorado to bring pressure. This is what they love to do in this part of the field. If it's 3rd down, they want to try to speed up the clock of the quarterback and make him make a quick decision.
12th play of the drive. Here comes pressure. It was picked up. The throw is right there and dropped. Eric Richardson. I mean, maybe Vickers helped break it up, but I think he just dropped it.
Oh, that is a heartbreaker if you're a Wyoming fan. Caden Anderson put that football exactly where it needed to be, and Eric Richardson, who just made a huge play for the offense a series ago, this is just a flat-out drop. Can't have it in moments like this. 3rd down, a chance to get a first down and keep the drive going. Just a critical error.
Eric Sandvik, the place kicker. Kick is up and right down the middle from 37 yards out. It is good. 15 Fs. But I think what actually happened is the U decided to go home. This game's over. I'm headed back to the fraternity house or wherever. I don't know. Whoever's the U might need to come back here because this game's not over. Wyoming's showing some life.
They got to go find their comrade. Where's the U? Get back in the stadium. We got a ball game.
We do. 28-13. 3:30. I mean, we're still in the third quarter.
BFFs. Love it.
Maybe you kind of have to be by definition to decide to do that together. They like to have fun here at Boulder. That is for sure. Another returnable kickoff. This one much shorter for Gibson. And he will hit that hole quickly. Man, he has so much short burst quickness. Colorado gets the ball back. Time now for the protection spotlight presented by Prudential.
Well, Caden Salter's going to get his name in the paper tomorrow for his performance tonight, but this offensive line for Colorado deserves a ton of credit. They have kept their quarterback clean all night. Excellent protection, clean pocket, plenty of time to throw the football down the field. And that's a big reason why Caden Salter has 3 touchdowns on the night.
Last time, remember, Colorado got the ball across midfield, decided not to go for it, punted the ball away.
4th and short, 4th and 3. Very surprising by that.
And Wyoming took the ball all the way down the field. Salter play fake, going deep right sideline, and incomplete. He had Sincere Brown, who already has 1 long touchdown catch. And that was close, almost another.
I'll tell you what, Sincere Brown, I know that was an incomplete pass, but he can flat out roll down the field. The transfer coming over from Campbell. This is his first year with the program, and he is certainly a deep threat, big-time wheels, and a big-time catch radius as well at 6'5".
Don't take this the wrong way, Campbell's fans, but how is that kid playing at Campbell? He can go.
He can run.
Now a little swing pass over to the left side and a nice burst upfield. That's Hakeem Williams, the Florida State transfer. Colorado first down.
Really nice play call by Pat Shermer, recognizing how aggressive this Wyoming defense is starting to be. Wyoming elects to bring pressure. What's the best play call into pressure? A quick screen. Great play call, great execution by Colorado.
Taylor and Welch in the backfield. Pat Shermer likes to use 2 running backs in the backfield, 1 on each side of the quarterback.
Yeah, he said that it calms down a defense in his opinion. It reminds him of when a quarterback goes under center, there's no tells in where the running back might go on the play. So if you put 2 running backs in the backfield, you don't know which way the run's going to go because it could go either way.
We've seen a lot of that tonight from the Colorado offense. That time a pass out to Williams again.
And it's also Pat Shermer just playing to the personnel that he has this year. He said a season ago a lot of 10 personnel, which means 1 running back, 4 wide receivers, because they had so much talent in that wide receiver room, where he said this year he really likes the running backs that he has.
Handoff on the right side. And close, I think enough. Michael Welch gets the first down. Look out. Big old Kareem Harden went tumbling backwards. He's playing left tackle, so Jordan Seaton's not in the game. Looks to me like Xylon Chrysler is not in the game. That's a couple of the top-line Colorado offensive linemen who are not out there right now.
Colorado really starting to slow down the pace of this game. I don't think they want to be in a hurry here. Not getting any points last drive. They want to try to start milking this clock with the lead that they have.
And off in a big hole. And a big run, a broken tackle inside the 20, and the ball pops out. And Wyoming comes up with it. So Welch, who was stripped from behind after a big run down the field. It looked like it was Miller who punched the ball out. Danes Miller, and then Justin Taylor, a safety, was there to scoop it up.
What an incredible individual effort by Miller to come all the way across the field and punch that football out. Unbelievable play. That's just pure hustle.
Great play to force the turnover when it was looking like Colorado was getting ready to score again.
Boy, Colorado getting ready to break the game open. Huge play there. But once again, Miller, just great individual effort to punch that football out and get the ball back to his offense.
Now, it's not going to be a beautiful scenario for the Wyoming offense, but it's a lot better than watching your defense give up a touchdown. 40-yard run, but the fumble. Wow. Now Wyoming backed up to their own 1-yard line. Under center. Handoff. And just not much room. They got a yard, I believe. Kelman with the carry.
Boy, it's going to be tough sledding running inside, backed up down there on the goal line. This is a really big defensive front, especially at the defensive tackle position for Colorado. 88, Amari McNeil, transfer from Tennessee, just playing as good as anybody on this defensive front right now. Wyoming doing anything they can to get some breathing room backed up.
It's Kelman again, the lone tailback. Well, handed to Kelman. This time he tries to cut back left. Maybe got another yard of forward progress. Amari McNeil, I think he's played well in the middle of that Colorado defense.
Just an excellent game from a very experienced player. He's played a ton of football between his time at Tennessee and now here at Colorado. And this is a really, really tough situation for Wyoming to be in. I think they're going to let this clock go to the quarter. Talk about it on the sideline, how they want to try to attack this third down play.
Well, overall, I think it was a positive quarter for...
Well, for a moment, it looked like Colorado was going to score. You turned it over within the 10. How does that change momentum here?
That changed momentum tremendously, but I tell you what, the defense is doing a wonderful job getting a couple stops. We got to get off the field because when we do, we're going to get a great return. Right, Gibson? We're going to get a great return, and the offense is going to get the ball in a great field position. We're going to go down and score.
Thanks for this.
Thank you.
In this situation, I like Chris Durr right here in the slot. He's had a really nice second half for Wyoming.
From the end zone, Anderson takes a hit and goes down. And Colorado gets the safety on the sack from Arden Walker. Just a disastrous play for Wyoming to start the fourth quarter.
Well, coming into this game tonight, we said Arden Walker, he needed to make his presence felt, and he has certainly done that tonight. Multiple sacks coming into the game. He had no sacks on the season, 4.5 a season ago, but he has certainly made his presence felt here tonight, making a game-changing play here to start the fourth quarter.
And that is the backup left tackle, Nathan Geiger. The starter at left tackle left this game a while ago due to an injury. Arden Walker took advantage of that. What a big play for Colorado. Well, so Dion, he was right. We are going to get the ball back. We are going to have a return. He left out the part about first we're going to get a safety and tack on 2 points.
Wow, what a play. What a play. What a momentum shift. It's already a very difficult situation for Wyoming to be in, but Arden Walker coming up big for this Colorado defense. Local kid, played right down the street in high school at Cherry Creek High School.
So 30-13, a 17-point lead now for Colorado. Just seconds into the fourth quarter. And now the free kick is going to be punted. And definitely returnable for this dynamo, the freshman Gibson, straight ahead. Wow, he saw a hole and he thought he was off and running. It will be good field position for Colorado. The Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más student section of the year. Who will take home the trophy this year? They definitely have some personality in the stands here in Boulder.
I tell you what, it's been a good scene here tonight. These fans, you mentioned it, it's parents weekend, family weekend here in Boulder, but this student section, they were packed early. Starting to see some people leave now, but tremendous environment here in Boulder, and just has to do with the prime effect that we talked earlier, what Coach Sanders has brought to this university. This is a very, very special game day experience.
Well, they've been going all day and last night,
all weekend,
and the night before. Ooh, take some stamina. These late night games, that carries straight ahead for Taylor on the first play of this drive after the safety and getting the ball back. Taylor has to limp off the field. So Simeon Price already out and hurt. It's kind of a four-man backfield for Colorado, and two of the four are not 100%. We'll see about Taylor.
Colorado really slowing down the tempo of this game right now. They're going to let this play clock get inside 10 seconds every play before they snap it.
Hard to blame them. Play fake and a throw. That pass completed, and then the spin move. Penalty flag thrown. What a tough run after catch. Terrell Timmons Jr., the NC State transfer. Nice play. Maybe a face mask too.
Definitely a face mask, but how about that effort by Timmons?
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 20. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
Great effort by the senior wide receiver. Does a great job securing the catch, but then spins out of the tackle, ignores the face mask, gets a hand down on the ground, keeps going. Very impressive run after the catch.
It was. You can see why Coach Sanders talks about how deep and talented his wide receiver group is. I mean, Terrell Timmons, he might be like number 8 on the list.
He's pretty far down, but you're right. Very talented wide receiver room, and there was a lot of big shoes that needed to be filled there. A couple guys off to the NFL off of last year's team.
I don't think there's really that much of a pecking order, but it's just in terms of who has touched the ball so far this year. Timmons might be earning some more touches. Welch with the carry.
And you talk about the talented wide receiver room, Flem. This is flat out a talented football team. When you look at Colorado, top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams, there's playmakers across the board. There's a big physical offensive line, a talented defensive line. They were just missing one piece through the first 3 weeks of the season. That was the quarterback play. But we've seen that tonight out of Caden Salter. He has the train back on the tracks and playing really good football. And right now, Colorado looks like a Big 12 contender.
Wyoming showing some pressure. It got picked up. Salter now, it opens up in front of him. He's scrambling to his left, and he'll go out of bounds. That's the guy you're talking about. He's played so much better tonight. And he and Colorado, I'm not going to say the game would be over, but essentially trying to put this game away right here, right now.
Yeah, if they get a touchdown, it's pretty safe to say, especially with the struggles that Wyoming has had on offense tonight, that it's all but done. This is a critical moment for this Wyoming defense. Can they hold Colorado to 3 points here in the red zone? Wyoming showing pressure. Caden Salter needs to be ready to make a quick decision with the football.
Just got the play snapped. Salter sprinting and throws. That pass was caught, I believe. What a catch, what an effort. And that's Timmons again. Another excellent play by him. Now he's stopped short of a first down.
Tell you what, Timmons, somebody that wasn't really talked about when we met with the coaching staff yesterday, but if he hauled this in between this catch, it's close. And the last one, this guy's earning himself some future playing time.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's tough. It looks like the football touched the turf.
But they haven't stopped. Well, now they are going to stop it.
The ruling of a completed catch is under further review.
So they'll stop and take a look. This Big 12 officiating crew. Alejandro Mata had run out on the field to get ready for a field goal, no matter what, whether the call is overturned or upheld. Mata's going to be kicking a field goal.
So what we need to look for here is, did Timmons control the reception all the way through the process of making this catch when he goes to the ground? Really tough to see on that last angle. But you kind of see it, almost looks like that ball, he's just bobbling it right at the end.
To me, that the ground ended up helping him secure that ball.
I agree. He doesn't have control all the way through the catch. This is going to be an incomplete pass.
It was an excellent effort on both ends. Ruling on field, pass complete.
Well, you said it, Flem.
After further review, it was an incomplete pass. be fourth down at the 16-yard line.
Okay. So either way, Colorado was going to kick a field goal. This will add, what, like 6 or 7 yards to the field goal try?
Yes. And Mata through his career has been pretty much automatic from this distance.
Really ends up adding just about 4 yards. It's a pretty good track record for Mata. Doesn't have the biggest, strongest leg, but just very, very accurate.
Inside of 40, this kid just does not miss.
One of Deion Sanders' favorite players, I think.
Yep, been with him since Jackson State.
Good snap and hold, and the kick was blocked. Wyoming blocks another kick.
It's the third field goal that they have blocked this season. This special teams unit is special.
Wow. I think Colorado's... Well, we didn't know. Was it Dainsis Miller who blocked the field goal? No, it was Anish Vias. His 4th career block kick. His 2nd one this year. It's Wyoming's 4th block kick of the season. They're the first team in college football to get 4 block kicks. That's pretty remarkable.
It's impressive. Just pure effort. Vias, a 2-time All-Patriot League performer coming over from Bucknell. Doing a great job, giving his team a chance here down 17 in the 4th.
Maybe there's an NFL team that wants a guy who can block field goals.
He certainly knows the drill and how to do that.
He's got a knack for it.
Really impressive.
Wyoming's got to have it here. Samuel Harris in the backfield. They'll give it instead on a little jet action to Chris Durr with Harris as his lead blocker. That's a nice play. First down, Wyoming.
Yeah, I really like that play design by Jay Johnson. Great job getting a couple lead blockers out there for Chris Durr, one of your best athletes in space. Really nice pickup there.
Harris stays in the backfield. Wyoming, not only do they have to march down the field and get points, they got to do it quickly.
Yeah, they need to pick up the tempo here. Down 3 possessions.
Anderson throws. That's Durr again. Starting to find more room as the game has gone on. Preston Hodge with the tackle. Clock moves. Gain of 6.
And Colorado's going to make it really tough on this Wyoming offense. They know the clock is not friendly to Wyoming right now, so they're playing a soft zone coverage outside. They're going to keep everything in front of them. But Caden Anderson, needing 3 possessions, needs to find a way to pick up this tempo and push the football down the field.
Anderson going to go under center. Again, just taking a long time to get the play. Now it looked to me like a little bobble of the exchange. And Harris, as he was falling forward, I think he had to secure that ball.
Yeah, you're right, Flynn. There was some issue with the ball handling there. It didn't look like a normal handoff between Anderson and Tote Harris. A little bit low on the handoff. But this is what we're saying, you know, clock is rolling. Wyoming needs to go. They need to be in a 2-minute drill type situation here. They need to get the football 3 times.
Man in motion, handoff Harris. So running the ball on 3rd down and 4. And they still have not blown the play dead. That extra effort, he got real close. He might have gotten the 1st down. In fact, I think based on the spot that I'm looking at, I think he did.
Yeah, no, the officials are waving. Great effort there on 3rd down, and I like the play call because you know it's 4-down territory. You have to go for it. You're down 17. How about this effort? Look at the offensive line getting behind their back, pushing them across the line to gain. Big-time pickup by Wyoming.
Justin Erb, the tight end, not only got a block on that play, then he circled back around and helped push Harris forward with those offensive linemen you were talking about.
Wyoming needs to go. They're letting way too much time run off the clock right here.
Yeah, you got to show some urgency. You're down 17.
Well, you just took a delay of game penalty.
That is inexcusable.
Delay game, offense, number 12, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
You know, and this is a young quarterback. He's just making his 7th career start here tonight, but Now with the in-helmet communication, there's just no excuse in college football. His offensive coordinator, Jay Johnson, can be in his ear. Hey, let's get to the line of scrimmage. Let's pick up our tempo. We need to be in 2-minute drill right now. You cannot take that delay of game penalty.
I mean, they've gained, what, 20 yards on this drive? They've already taken 3.5 minutes.
The clock's rolling right now. You got to go.
Handoff, big hole. Harris cuts it back middle. Toad Harris took a big hit into Colorado territory, so got that penalty yardage back. Got the 10 yards, plus one, a 16-yard run for a first down.
I'll tell you what, Toad Harris, he is a special player, just a true freshman for this Cowboys football team, but you can see it. When the ball is in his hands, good things happen.
He's over 100 yards for the game now, averaging 6.5 yards a carry. Sam Scott into Colorado territory. Wyoming setting up a screen. They set it up nicely, and Scott out into the open, still on his feet inside the 25, down to the 22-yard line.
Just a 4-man rush by Colorado. They're playing coverage behind it, but you got to give Wyoming a lot of credit. You're going to see a couple offensive linemen get out in front of Scott and lead the way for the running back. Excellent blocking down the field by tight end Sabota as well, number 86.
So that's 23 more yards. Well, Wyoming is moving the ball. Again, they're taking a lot of time to do it. We're under 6.5 to go. They'll hand it off to Scott, who gets swallowed. Got a yard, if that.
I mean, if you're Wyoming, once again, I've said it multiple times on this drive, you need the football 3 times. You still need to get stops and scores. Right now, I am throwing this football for the end zone. You need to find a quick score if you're going to have any shot at winning this football game.
You're basically conceding the game. You're saying we don't think we can win the game.
I agree. That's what I'm seeing play out in front of us right here.
That would not make me happy if I were pulling for Wyoming. Now the pass knocked down. They were going to throw a little swing pass to Harris, and Arden Walker having a nice game, knocked it down incomplete.
Arden Walker, phenomenal game tonight. He was one of those guys that was challenged by Deion Sanders. He expects a lot out of him. A senior, he's played a ton of football here for this program. Started his career at Missouri. 4.5 sacks a season ago, and he certainly made his presence felt tonight.
3rd and 8. Harris back in the game. Caden Anderson, the quarterback, in the shotgun. Colorado showing pressure, and they'll hand it off to Harris, who sneaks through. Harris inside the 10. Turned into an excellent play call with the pressure coming. First and goal, Wyoming.
I mean, this is just incredible blocking by this Wyoming offensive line and tight ends. There are 8 men up at the line of scrimmage for Colorado. Great block and great job by Toad Harris finding a little air in the front and picking up a first down.
I mean, even now we're huddling up.
I don't know why. Go. Get the ball snapped. Throw the ball into the end zone.
More than 6-minute drive. Harris stopped right at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
There's zero urgency right now. You can see it on your screen. Wyoming's walking around. No one's jogging and sprinting to get to the line of scrimmage and getting this football snap. Very interesting decision by Jay Savell to play with this type of, I should say, lack of urgency.
Yeah. Anderson takes a shotgun snap. He's going to throw over the top. Incomplete. Trying to hit Michael Fitzgerald. Back shoulder. Vickers with the coverage. It's 3rd and goal.
It's a 6'6" wide receiver. I like that decision outside. But as a quarterback, you got to give him a chance to make a play on the football. Well, typically in these situations, Colorado likes to bring pressure. They usually show 8 up at the line of scrimmage, bring all-out blitz. Do they show and go with drop it into coverage here? A little bit of reverse psychology here on 3rd and goal.
They rush 5. It was picked up and into traffic. That pass was caught. Wow. How many bodies were in the neighborhood, and somehow the ball got through to Chris Durr. After all that, Wyoming gets it in the end zone.
Really great throw by Anderson and a fantastic effort by that man right there, Chris Durr. Like you said, Flem, there are a lot of bodies in that area. Great concentration by Durr to bring in that football for his offense.
Well, if you're going to take 7 minutes off the clock down 17, you better at least get it in the end zone, and they did. That was an impressive drive. Extra point is up, and it is good.
It is good. And with 4:30.
So some history at the West End Tavern, where they love to watch their Colorado football. Buffs have been in control of this game basically from the start. However, Wyoming is within 10 after a long, deliberate 13-play, 84-yard, 6-minute, 49-second touchdown drive, and the Cowboys are not onside kicking it. They're kicking it deep, and a fair catch made by Colorado, so the Buffaloes get the ball. We know one is Wyoming. They're more than 7,000 feet above sea level. Caden Salter for Colorado on the first play of this drive. Right to the first down mark.
We can do this.
All right, you and I, we need to work this out. So Wyoming is 1, so they're 4. We need 4.
There's northern Arizona.
Yeah, it's close to your current home.
That's the only reason why I know.
Yeah. All right, so that's 2. I mean, are we going Fort Collins? Or are we going Colorado Springs? Do we think either of those higher elevation than this?
I kind of like Fort Collins potentially with Colorado State, and I don't know why my head is maybe thinking like a New Mexico.
Albuquerque. I don't know if Albuquerque is that high elevation.
Well, I know we have 2 of them. Put it that way.
Welch 50 carry.
50%.
Yeah.
How about that?
Under 4 minutes to go. All right, let's ask and answer our Aflac trivia question. Aflac. With Coach Prime here, we got to do an Aflac trivia question. All right, we need 4. This is the 5th highest Wyoming we got, Northern Arizona we got, Air Force
Southern
it was.
Utah.
Southern Utah.
Flem, you had it. You had Air Force. I think I talked you out of it. But Southern Utah.
That one, I don't think we ever would have gotten that one.
Speaking of trivia questions, why is Wyoming not taking timeouts right here?
Yeah. I just don't understand this entire. It's a 10-point game. This is not a 20-point lead. That'll be another Colorado first down out near midfield. I mean, the way Wyoming's playing this, they're just content to let this game end.
Listen, I'm absolutely confused, which is why you hear me stutter. I think Jay Savell made a very interesting decision to kick that football deep. I don't know for the life of me why you would not try an onside kick. You have 3 timeouts as well as the 2-minute timeout, and you're down 10. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Now Colorado, I mean, why wouldn't they just let the clock wind? You run one more play, then take it to the 2-minute timeout. Salter, they're throwing the ball, which is interesting. I guess high percentage passes completed, the tackle inbounds, and now the Cowboys use a timeout. And now you only save 11 seconds. Because the 2-minute, I mean, that is really confusing to me. If you use the timeout a play before, you save the full play clock of time.
Right there with you, Flem. I don't understand the decision making with Coach Savell. I mean, it really starts with it goes back to the touchdown drive a series ago.
It does.
You played with no urgency. You needed to be in a 2-minute style warp speed type offense. And you just kind of took your time methodically going down the field. You killed 7 minutes at times. Sure, you scored a touchdown, but you put yourself behind the clock and then you kick it deep rather than the onside. So I'm kind of confused with all these decisions right now.
I mean, they've done a lot of good things. They've outscored Colorado in the second half, 17-9.
Yes. That man right there, Caden Anderson, played a great second half. I mean, this has really been a Wyoming-driven second half. They're in the ball game. I mean, I get it. You need some help, but no urgency right now.
Only offensive points for Colorado since halftime were a minute into the half. And now a nice, tough power run from Dallin Hayden, who will get the Colorado first down and take us to the 2-minute timeout. 30-20. That's the score. What?
She was more than ready.
There was no Ralphie the first 2 home games. Ralphie 6 was retired because Ralphie 6 didn't want to run anymore. It took him some time to get Ralphie 7 trained to be ready for tonight. Coincidence? I think not. He brought his hat. He knew what was up tonight.
Best hat I've seen all weekend.
Run, Ralphie, run. I mean, a game here without that just feels like incomplete.
It's one of the great traditions in college football.
Maybe number 1 for me. Maybe number 1. All right, timeout Wyoming. When we're done, momentarily, we assume. Dabo Swinney, some very emotional words from the Clemson head coach after he spoke up during the week. His team did not play well today. Oklahoma over Auburn. That was kind of a weird game, wasn't it? We were watching that during the afternoon. WrestlePalooza. So lots to talk about. Weren't as many, big top 10 type matchups in college football this week. We still had a lot of stuff going on.
Well, that Clemson loss, that was a team that was talked about to be in the national title run this year.
Super experienced. Yeah. Salter out into the open. Caden Salter is going to take it into the end zone for a touchdown. Inspired by Ralphie.
Well, Wyoming took a timeout, and Caden Salter made him pay. Just a traditional quarterback, running back zone read. He can hand it off to the tailback, but Caden Salter did a tremendous job reading the defensive end. He crashed. He kept the football. And Wyoming's in man coverage. No one's there to account for the quarterback. And what a night Caden Salter had. Over 300 yards passing and adding 86 on the ground. I don't think there's any question who QB1 is here in Boulder anymore.
Deion Sanders said to us, nobody wants to play 3 quarterbacks. I think now they're going to play 1.
Yeah, they have their guy. See the defensive end just crashing down, and Salter makes a perfect read. And like I said, Wyoming was selling out to stop the run. They're in man coverage. There's no one there to account for Salter. And this kid's special. This is the version of Caden Salter Deion Sanders expected to get when he brought him here from Liberty to Boulder. Like I just said, over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns on the night, another 86 yards on the ground. If he continues to play like this, you're talking over almost 500 yards of offense. This defense has a chance to be elite. They have some pass rushers, big guys inside, some quality skill at the corner position. I think if this Colorado team truly puts it together with Caden Salter, that man at the helm, they'll have a chance to make a run at the Big 12.
The most rushing yards for any Colorado player in any game all year. 86 for Caden Salter. And they're going to improve to 2-2. Everybody around here is going to feel a whole lot better. And you got a talented BYU team, but with a true freshman quarterback, I mean, you know what this place is going to be like next Saturday night. BYU coming here for what feels like a much different game after the way Colorado has played tonight. All right, well, it's been announced game day crew is going to State College next week. Number 6 Oregon, number 2 Penn State. I think it's the whiteout game for the Nittany Lions too. So that's always a scene. I loved Coral Gables this morning.
Yeah,
that was a really
great scene. But that one there, Oregon, Penn State, State College. That's going to be a fun one.
9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. There will be no high dive from McAfee or Sims.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing this morning. Oh, Pat.
Landon Sims in the game, the second quarterback for Wyoming. And he's going to run it out of bounds. So Sims gets a chance to play, the sophomore from Evergreen, Alabama.
Really athletic quarterback. Talking to the coaching staff this week, they said super athletic. He can run with the best of them. He can create outside the pocket with his legs. Getting a little bit of burn here late in the 4th quarter.
Running the ball with Max White. got stopped short of the first down. So just playing out the final minute and a half here. 37-20 Colorado. Wyoming will have about, what, a 2-hour bus ride after the game to get back to Laramie. Sims kept it, and he goes down. Got stopped well short. Colorado defenders still playing hard here in the final minute. This is an important win for Colorado. I mean, we sort of said it at the top. Their season was going to go sideways if they did not take care of business tonight, and they did.
That's right. It really felt like this football team was just at a fork in the road, and this was a make or break type game. It was a get back on track. If you were a Colorado fan or Deion Sanders, you wanted to see your team come out here, assert your will, and dominate this football game. And like I just said, almost 500 yards of offense tonight, but more importantly, you got your quarterback going and you know who your starter is moving forward.
That is huge for this team. Sims throws it on 4th down. Wyoming converts. Just 17 seconds on the clock. Big game with BYU here next Saturday night. That will likely be the final play of the game. Indeed it is. And Wyoming looks frustrated. Caden Salter, that's the biggest smile he's had since coming to Boulder.
What a sigh of relief for that man. Came here to be the starting quarterback. After a game and a quarter, essentially was benched. Didn't know if he would see the field again this season. Won back the job and